Welcome back, Bravehearts, to the Doc of Detox show. Today's show is the Activation Tour with the creators of the Greater Reset, and that would be Derek Brose and Miriam Gomez. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolf, and I'm your guide, okay, to help you creating the perfect day. Just think if you could create the perfect day from the moment you rise until you gently close your eyes at the end of the day and have a slight smile on your face. Well, that's when you know that you own your life, and you'll never own your life until you own your mind. And for most, it's a landmine right now. Understand something. This activation tour is about how to prevent technocracy from spreading into your hearts, minds, and homes. This is all about you taking your life back, and I will be honest about this, and I think we should really be honest. Most people have never owned their lives because they've never owned their minds, because they've been programmed from 0 to 7 to do the bidding of the same people that are doing what's going on today. And we don't need to get into that, because I avoid that topic a lot, because we need to focus on what we want. We the people, we need to focus on what we want, and that's the end of it right there. So I want to welcome everyone and understand something. We will be doing a lecture with them on March the 11th from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. We have the most amazing juice bar that will be open all day for you. So if you come to see us in Ixtapa at the World Healing and Training Center, just know this, okay? You will be welcomed, and you will be well drank and well fed, okay? And for those of you coming, just know this. I would like you to go to Activation Tour at docofdetox.com and let me know how many are coming so that we rent the right amount of chairs, okay? We're expecting around 100 to 150 people at this venue, okay? So if you live in Mexico and you can get here, please come here. If you live in the area, please share the word to all your friends and family. You know what? This is going to be a beautiful, okay, self-care, self-love event, and to empower people and to let them know that they are not alone and that we are all in this situation together, but we can change it if we learn how to activate that mind, okay, on a personal level, so that we can do it for everybody else, okay? So I welcome Derek and Miriam to the show. Hi, guys. I cannot hear you guys. Hi, guys.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, listen, it's an honor. Just know that. And it truly is an honor. I just want you to know that these are Braveheart heroes. If you want to know what Braveheart heroes look like and act like, this is two of them. And I don't throw that around loosely, okay? And just think about it. When you find your passion and your purpose, and you can make a difference on this world, and we actually serve each other our gift that we have, because everybody has a gift, and they have a beautiful one. Hi, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us, Darrell. We appreciate all the work you guys are doing out there, and we're excited to come see you.
Yeah, thank you for reminding us that we all do have a special gift, and that's what we are all needing to put out right now for everybody, for our own personal sake and for everybody's.
Well, that's what the Activation Tour is all about, right? The Activation Tour is to teach people how to activate their gift. And once you activate your gift, you have no problem wanting to serve everyone. Nobody wants to serve anyone when they're a slave. You don't mind serving people when you found your gift, because that makes you shine. And that's why you guys are shining all over the world right now.
Yeah, actually, if I could mention, one of the reasons that we started using this phrase activation, as you mentioned, I'm one of the co-producers of the Greater Reset, not the Great Reset, the Greater Reset, or the People's Reset, as we call it too.
Yes.
And we call our event not just a conference or a festival, but we came up with calling it the Greater Reset Activation, because it was very much, for one, only focused on solutions, just like our tour. We don't spend too much time talking about the problems that many of us are well aware of, like you were just saying a moment ago.
Well, that would be the addiction that's killing everyone.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's a drama addiction, I think. And so we try to focus on how do we get people to go beyond just being, quote unquote, awake, as we say in our communities. I've really been realizing that being awake is not enough, because you can be awake, and as you know, you can still ignore your body, your health, your mind. You can still walk right into technocracy. So we, with the Greater Reset, and then now with the tour, really started to talk to people about what does it mean to be activated, not just awake and aware and paying attention, but doing nothing, but to actually take real steps in your life to take care of your health, mental, physical, and spiritual, but also to start thinking about how are we going to remain free in the face of this technocracy that's rising around the world, including in Mexico. So we really consciously use that word, not just as kind of like a buzzword or a lingo or something, but to really encourage people to think about what does it mean to be activated, to actually be taking steps in your life to be more free.
So can I say this, that being activated means that you're in the present moment and you own it, because that's the only place that you can create something new.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think that's 100% right.
Absolutely. And that's where I bring in the meditation aspect of things. So my role that I play is I share a conversation, a talk about mental, spiritual, and physical health. And with that, I share a guided meditation and introduce people to meditation. And honestly, all the tools that just help us be more present, be more healthy, be more focused, be more energized, be more whole, be more fully capable, feeling capable, because we are capable. So meditation is one of those tools that I share. And yes, like you were saying, it's about being present. And in our present moment, we can actually be more consciously choosing, however you want to say it, light over darkness, or love over fear. But just choose what we truly want in this life.
Yeah, and if I can come back to this, let's not mix up the great reset with the greater reset, and understand something. The great reset was for nobody except for the technocracy. And you have to understand something, everyone. Most people have never, ever really activated their mind, and your mind will never be activated until every prominent, dominant thought in it, you owned it, and it was dipped in unconditional love for you and for the rest of your family, being the world. I'd like to say that if I could. How did you guys meet and come together to do this work?
So we met back in 2016, really through our activism. Miriam and I are both originally from Houston. We've been living in Mexico for the last 2 years, though, and in Morelia, not far from where you are. And we met, though, in 2016 in Houston through some activism around the Standing Rock issue. At the time, I was going out there reporting, and she was working with some local activists in Houston. And we fell in love, and we've been working together ever since then, in different ways. And then in 2017 and 2018, we did our first US tours with this kind of similar setup, with Miriam doing meditations and talks, and then me giving a kind of in-depth presentation. So we did that 2 times in 2017, 2018. But last year, obviously, with all this COVID-1984 insanity going on, it felt like a really important time to hit the road. And so we did another tour of the US. It was the activation tour of the US. And we did 29 cities over 60 days and had just overwhelming support around the country. It was a really humbling experience. And I've been doing independent journalism and activism since 2010, and just dedicating my work to this. My website, for anybody who's not familiar, is theconsciousresistance.com. And then, of course, I co-produced the Greater Reset as well as the Freedom Cell Network. And so, we've been collaborating. And you want to share about your story?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing some activism without knowing that I was doing activism, whatever that label means. But pretty much in my community, where my mom lives, where my family lives, where I grew up, there was some local tyranny happening. And so I just kind of helped along that journey and make sure that people weren't getting screwed over like it still happens to all around the world in so many different ways. And I just got active in my local community, and then I started sharing with people and reminding people from my community, like, hey, we don't need to be dependent on them in so many different ways in one, and our health is another one. And just reminding people, like, hey, let's go back to the ways that our grandma taught us, like, have your remedies, make sure that you're eating really healthy, all these different things, right? And so then from there, I started getting more active in Houston, and then that's when I met him. That was my little story.
It's been a beautiful journey, and we're just dedicating our time and our energy and our lives to trying to activate people, to get people to take seriously the situations we're facing, and to recognize that people like yourself, Dr. Wolf, are providing solutions for those who are ready to actually step out of the drama addiction and do something about it. I've been working in this field as an independent journalist now for 10 years, and I have definitely seen that there are some people who seem to be more drawn to the bad news or the drama than the actual solutions. So we're trying to just emphasize more than ever the importance of focusing on solutions. It's important to be informed about the world, but if you're just drowning in that and you're not taking steps to take care of your mental, physical, and spiritual health, then it's not going to do you any good.
On a side note, I can remember when I was younger and they'd be talking about rebels around the world, how there's a rebellion, there's rebels. And I used to go, oh, these rebels cause so much trouble, and the reality is if you don't rebel to losing your rights, your freedoms, the right to breathe, the right to live, to dance, to be happy, to connect, to come together. I mean, there will be change. There's going to be change and it will come. But the reality is that for the majority, they only change when they're down on their knees begging God, please, because they can't take the pain anymore, because it's very easy to program a human being, too easy, I really believe. And the reality is we need to teach people that they need to mind their own business and to mind their life, to mind their family, to mind the way they're connected to their breath, keeping a slight smile on their face throughout the day. People think that, I'm not going to smile unless somebody gives me something or tells me they love me or something goes my way. Well, you know what? We need to become the way, Miriam, and you're going to teach them that with the meditations and the talks that we're going to have on March the 11th at 5 o'clock. So we'd like everybody to come. They can come earlier. We have 2 big pools here. Okay, we got a volleyball court in the back, a beach volleyball court, actually. And we have the juice bar, and you can come here early as you want in the daytime, and you can use the resort at any way that you want and your pleasure. And just know that you're my guest, okay? So everybody, you are my guest. And if you want to come up and come into the studio, we'll maybe do a live with some people, so if you come during the day. So the reality is that our home is your home, and that's the way it should be, okay? All right. So let me ask you a question. What is your ideal outcome with everything that you're doing? What is it? Everybody's got their goal. Everybody sees some kind of vision. What is your vision? And what would you see as being the end result of your efforts?
Well, I think that big picture wise, grand scheme of things, waking up the world, stopping tyranny, helping freedom. Obviously, those are the bigger goals that many of us have. And maybe in the short term, which thankfully we're seeing, is people taking action, people getting activated. Again, when we did this tour in the US last year, and we actually just started here in Mexico, last night was our first stop on it, and it went amazing as well. We're connecting to people, and people are telling us, I met friends and family and new friends and family because of the Greater Reset or because of the Freedom Cell Network. And now we pulled our kids out of school together. Now we pulled our money out of the banks. Now we're, learning about cryptocurrency, or we're growing our own food, or we went to see Dr. Wolf. Whatever it is, people are I think some people, not all people, of course, but some people who are really seeing what's happening and who are choosing to get activated rather than live in fear or apathy or whatever, are taking concrete, tangible steps to make themselves more free. And again, those are internal, mental, spiritual steps, as well as physical steps. Like, we've helped a number of people who've decided to move their entire lives from Canada, from Europe, from Australia, to come down to Mexico and help get them set up in different places. We've been doing caravans, people. So bringing people down who want to get away from tyranny. And I guess for me, why that's part of my goals is because ultimately, again, being awake to what's going on, but choosing to do nothing, you're only, in my view, selling out the coming generations. You're selling out your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and the people you may never see by choosing not to take action. And so for me, the bigger goal, the vision, the hope with doing these tours is that people will be motivated to say, you know what, that was a great night. I met some cool people. Now, how am I going to go home and start incorporating these ideas into my life?
Sure.
The last Greater Reset that we just had, it was called the Greater Reset 3, integration. Our focus was, how do we integrate these ideas? Not just get together, have a good time and talk about it, but how do we really practically put these ideas into our lives? And so I guess for me, a success or a victory would be encouraging as many people as possible to think in those terms. And I think, from what I'm seeing, we're having success so far.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one big goal of this for me is to remind people that you're not alone in these COVID times or whatever. People are feeling like they are alone. They're feeling ostracized. They're feeling rejected by their friends and family, and then feeling like they need to make some changes, but these different changes are scary for a lot of people. And I mean, just last night we met two girls that they felt like they were completely alone, and I'm telling them right next to each other, well, now you're not. Now you know that you're not, and you're both living in the same city. So now you guys can get together and organize yourselves, or do whatever you feel is necessary for yourselves to grow in the direction that you really want, with the world, with the direction that the world is going as well.
And what if
So
we,
I think that's really.
I don't mean to cut in, but what if we looked at things a little differently too? What if we looked at this as an opportunity to actually grow, to actually, you know, become centered in ourselves and actually bring up our vibration and actually start living our life for ourselves? And, you know, because, you know, how many people actually live their destiny, live their passion, live their purpose? How many people believe that slavery is normal? And, and understand, I know that human beings have been slaves since the beginning of time. We're still slaves to a lot of different things. But the reality is if you can't free up your mind, then you'll never ever get this thing started. And that's what activation is, right?
Right. Absolutely. And I think you're right too, Dr. Wolf, that you know, some people are, well, for one, I want to say, I meant to say this a moment ago. Thank you again for opening up your space to us for the event. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of really awesome things there, and we're excited. I mean, we couldn't do this tour without people like yourself and without the volunteers. This is 100% grassroots. We're not being funded by any big corporations or any, you know, big funders behind us. It's just us and our passion and our money and our time and energy. But we work with local folks like yourself in different cities to help us coordinate the events, to help us coordinate our activism, because, you know, I don't know if we've mentioned this, but I think it's worth mentioning as part of this conversation that we come into town, Miriam gives a talk and a meditation, I give a talk, I perform some music, and that's important. We think that's important, but we also have community action days in every single city we visit. So in every city we're visiting, we're either going to volunteer at a community garden, we're cleaning up a beach, we're cleaning up a park, or we're going out and passing out flyers about COVID truth or whatever the local community wants us to do.
Right.
And it's really a way for us to kind of give back to the places we're going. I don't want it to ever appear as if we're coming and saying, hey, we've got all the answers, just pay attention to us. We want to give to the places we're going. We want to contribute. We want to connect to the local community. And I think that is most important. Even more important than us coming to share our message is, as Miriam was just saying, when people come to these events, and for example, I'm sure there's going to be people coming who may have never even been to your center yet, who are going to discover, oh my gosh, this is right in my backyard. I didn't know this existed. I need to get connected with these people. I need to, you know, start working together. And that to me is the beautiful fruit that comes out of this, because then we go on to the next city. But what really matters is what people do after that. Once those connections have been made, once that activation has begun, it's really up to everybody to decide what comes next.
Okay, let me ask you a couple questions. First of all, if you have the time when you're here, I'd love to do an interview with you in person. Okay, if we could do that. Second thing is, if you guys don't have a place to stay, the hotel would like to put you up. So I don't know if you have a place to stay or if you'd like us to put you up while you're here.
We would love that, and we would love to do an interview in person as well.
Okay.
We appreciate that.
So when are you coming in? Are you coming in on the 11th or are you coming in on the 10th?
We'll be in on the 10th.
Well, then you'll have a place here on the 10th and the 11th to stay, okay? And
Thank
the
you.
12th,
Thank you.
on the 12th if you want. Okay, we'll have you a nice room for you. All right?
We appreciate that.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
And just if I can, I'm going to come right back to you, but I just want to say this because you guys were talking about bringing people down from the United States and Canada and different places like that. So I just want to take this chance to say this. I want people to go take a look at my one a day I just did. We actually had a lady get out of Australia because of my letter. And it's a letter from me saying that she needs to come here for treatment and therapy for 6 months. And it actually got her out without the vaccine passport or the vaccine. So we just had another, you'll see another family just came through the Canadian airport, and they came through with my letter as well. So they only use the letter. But they also, Miriam, you're going to love this. If you have time, go look at the one a day. And they talked about how they meditated and they visualized being on the plane and then landing, and everything was just a beautiful experience. And the whole thing was a beautiful experience all the way going through the airport. So, you know, what you think about the most, you're going to end up getting. So focus on only what you want in your life, everyone. And I just wanted to say this. There's, for people that are trying to get out of Canada, you can call this number 514-437-1028 and talk to Alex. Okay, we're trying to put a large plane together to fly directly into Ixtapa, 120 seater. It is 3,000 for the flight. I'm not making any money, neither is Alex, but just know that we really want to do that for everyone. There's another company called Babin Air, Babin, out of Cranbrook, British Columbia. $750 gets you out of Cranbrook. 45 minutes later, you land in Montana, and then it's up to you from there. Okay? That's all I wanted to say, guys. I'm going to pass it back to you. So where do you go on this tour? Can you just tell everybody where you're going on this tour? So you were in Mexico City last night, and where you're going from here until you come here.
We were actually in Querétaro last night. Here we're still here right now in what state? Oh, yeah, the state. And our full schedule is listed just in case anybody wants to see it at activationtour.org. You can get, there's a bio from me.
Activationtour.org. I'm not cutting you off. Guys, can you put that up, please? Activationtour.org. Make sure that you put it on YouTube, put it on Facebook, and everybody, please spread this around. Okay, we want to pack our place. We can hold about 175 people, so make me rent a lot of chairs, would you? And
we would love to have that many people there. It would be amazing.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying our best, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if anybody wants to find out more, activationtour.org. What I was saying is it has a bio. If you want to learn more about myself or Miriam, it has the full schedule. And if you just go look at the date, like Ziwa, click on it, the flyer opens up. It's got the address to your place and the information about our action day. So for those who are interested in maybe doing both parts of the day, at noon on the 11th, we'll be in Ziwa with some of the group out there, passing out some flyers. I think they're going to play some music and just doing some community outreach. And then in the evening, of course, we'll be coming to your place. And that's kind of how we do things in different cities. Tomorrow, we have an event in San Miguel, Sunday in Guanajuato, and then we're headed to back down towards Ziwa, and then we just go up the coast, Puerto Escondido, Oaxaca, San Cristobal, Tulum, Playa del Carmen, Cancun, Merida, Jalapa.
I'll tell you, that's a tour anybody would want to take. That's just a beautiful tour.
It's actually pretty cool. We have some friends in the community following along with us. So there's going to be a little bit of a caravan on the tour. So it should be exciting.
And talking about caravans, talking about helping people come from Canada, I just want to mention really quickly that we do caravans as well from the US to Mexico frequently. Pretty much every single time we go visit family in the US. And the next one's going to be in May.
Probably in May, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if anybody's interested in that, go ahead and email us at opurr at protonmail.com.
So again, I'll say that's OPURR at Proton Mail. And that just stands for Operation Underground Railroad is what we call it. And I mean, there's nothing illegal about what we're doing. We just, if anybody has the ability, and this is what we've done with Canadians, anybody can make it. We meet people in Houston on the morning. We send them the details. We have a call and let everybody know, here's the procedure. We drive to the border. We help people do their paperwork in case they don't speak Spanish or they don't really know what they're doing. And then from there, they can either follow us back to Morelia or they can go about their own way. But we've been doing these caravans for the last 2 years or year and a half now, and we've brought dozens and dozens of people down who have stayed. Some have gone, elsewhere and moved around or just kind of testing the waters and see if they want to be in Mexico. But it's definitely something we still want to offer.
Yeah.
Excellent. And just guys, can you also put on their activation tour at docofdetox.com? Anybody that's thinking of coming, please just email us there and it'll just give us a guesstimate on how many chairs we need to rent. We have about 60 chairs, 70 chairs, but I don't think that'll be enough, and I'm hoping it isn't. Okay. So what was your experience like during your U.S. activation tour? How was that? Did you have any?
That was absolutely beautiful.
Did you have any pushback, or it was just?
Well, we went into it thinking and planning for the possibility of being pushed out of some cities or something like that, because we just didn't know what the waters were going to be like. Sure. But we went full force forward and just wanting to do this and make it happen. And wow, it was a big surprise for us to. First 4 stops, we had about 100 people show up to
at every stop. Yeah. And we had our biggest crowd was in San Francisco, which I think for us, it makes sense because San Francisco is one of the first places in the US to start requiring proof of vaccination. And so, as you know, Dr. Wolf, some people don't react until, oh no, now I feel threatened. I need to do something. So people start feeling threatened in the Bay Area. So we had 150 people show up just looking for ideas, desperate for solutions. It was really empowering. And then I will say the only place, well, maybe two places we had issues. We were going to do a tour stop in not San Diego, but it was somewhere in Sebastopol, no, not Sebastopol, but somewhere in that area and Central California. And we had two venues cancel on us because the local COVID people found out we were coming to their town, and how dare we host an event during the middle of COVID. So they called one of our venue until they felt pressured, and they canceled literally the day before our event. And then we booked another one, and then they called them and pressured them till they canceled again. And then last minute, we just told everybody, hey, we're just going to meet in a park. People brought speakers, and we did the whole thing in a big public park. We had 60, 70 people still show up despite that.
It turned out to be better because I told everybody out here, we're in the fresh air, breathing in that good prana, where it's such a better turnout. So
yeah, so we had a couple of things like that. And then there was, when we were in Portland, part of our action day was really beautiful. We got to help participate in their first march and rally and kind of outreach that they did in the city at all about vaccine passports. And a lot of people, they look at a place like Portland and it's super left-wing or progressive or whatever. And definitely a lot of people there bought the COVID narrative. So it was somewhat of a hostile environment, but we had 100+ people show up and march peacefully through, the center of Portland. And we had people coming up, talking to her, talking to me, who were literally in tears and were saying, I thought I was the only one in the city who felt this way. I thought I was the only one who had these questions. And thank you guys for being out here. And then of course, other people who were outside double masked up and, yelling at us and calling us crazy and that sort of thing. But we just talk to people when there's an opportunity. And if there's not an opportunity to hey, you're not even interested in a dialogue, have a nice day. We're going to go about our own way. Right.
Love you anyway.
Yeah, exactly. We love you anyway. But beyond that, honestly, it was very, very supportive.
It was very supportive and encouraging and inspiring for me personally. And Portland was such a good example of what is required of us, what I feel is required of us right now as human beings, that courage and that love for ourselves and for humanity. In Portland, the lady that organized their first rally, their first outreach, she had never done anything like this before. And she felt it in her heart that somebody needed to do something, that somebody needed to organize something like this. And so she was nervous to her bones. She was, but very, very much in her heart, she knew that she needed to do this. And although she was nervous, she took those deep breaths in. She asked for some advice from Derek, and she got that microphone and said, everybody, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this in a good way. And we're not going to let anybody who yells at us or tries to stop us get in the way of our mission here. We're all going to just take a deep breath, relax, center ourselves, and be focused and get this done. And after I saw her, I was just like, wow, that's such a good example of what I need in my life and what I want to share with other people. And that just trickles out. That is one of those waves of power that just moves through people. And it's so powerful. That's empowered me to do good things and to do the meditation group, and now set up a world synchronized meditation that I'll share about if you're interested. But it's also empowered other people in her city now to do the things that they feel is necessary with their full heart forward.
So if we can say this, it's like this. Every day, do something that scares you. Okay. And then get your power back, because if, you can't sit there and be scared, do something that scares you. And guess what? You'll find out that they have no power over you. There is no authority over you on this planet. And understand, we are many, they are few, but they are organized and we are disorganized, and we are also judging each other all the time, from our color to our race to our language to our status. And we better get over that really fast. And judgment has to leave. Observation is okay. But if we stop judging each other and minding our own business, you'd be surprised how fast this could all move for everybody. What do you think?
Right. And I think you're absolutely right, Daryl. And I think the organizational part, we're working on it. We have the Freedom Cell Network that's trying to get people activated as well and connected with local people in your area, and get organized in the different ways that you feel are necessary in your local community. Yeah,
and I'll just add to that. I think you're right too, as well. I've noticed this over the years that there's within our movements, kind of broadly speaking, there's a tendency to be suspicious of everything, which I think is generally warranted, knowing everything the government's been up to and all the history of the crimes and corruption and things like that. But I find sometimes people get stuck into a mentality of because of their suspicion, they're constantly, like you said, judging or attacking other people, or just placing their energy outward. And like, what is it? Is this person a shill? Is this person an agent? This and that. And they give away a lot of their own personal power and a lot of their own ability to organize in their own lives, right? I mean, it's important to be, again, informed and aware of potentials, but if you spend all your time judging other people, attacking other people. And I can say this from personal experience. When I was younger, when I was going through my addiction, my depression, a lot of the stuff I had to heal from that I'll be sharing about at the event, I spent so much time, energy pointing my fingers out at the outside world because I didn't want to look at myself and what I was dealing with and the trauma and the things that I was masking and covering up. So I feel like when you find yourself, if anybody hearing this kind of resonates with that, if you find yourself constantly projecting your energy outwards and judging and attacking other people, and even when it comes to these corrupt people and these people that we're trying to create a better world to get away from, it's often, I think that's a sign that you need to refocus your energy and look back at yourself. Like, why am I spending so much energy judging this other person for what they're doing? Maybe there's something I'm seeing in them that I don't like about myself. Maybe, it's just, I think, an opportunity to continue the healing process. And my work, the Conscious Resistance and the Activation Tour, is very much about bridging these different worlds between, we need to be physically prepared and physically organized, like you were mentioning a moment ago. And it's not one or the other. And we also need to work on what I call the internal tyrant, our own doubts, fears, and insecurities, our limiting beliefs that can hold us back and prevent us from being, as you put it, the brave hearts, the best versions of ourselves. And so, we really think that people do need to get physically organized. We have the website freedomcells.org, freedomcells.org, which is just a place where people can go, create a profile, put what your interests are, and you can use our maps to search and find people in your area. But the beautiful thing about this tour is that even if you don't know anybody in your area yet, just come to the event in Ziwa and you're going to meet a lot more people. And then you'll recognize, okay, I'm not alone. But where do we go from that? Now it's time to get organized. Okay, I've met other people. We're like-minded. We have similar goals. What do we do now, right? And that is up to each community to decide and each individual to decide. But that's very much about what this tour is about, healing the internal world and encouraging people to get active and get organized, whether that's, let me focus on my mental health, let me focus on growing food, let me get my kids out of the school, let me, think about what am I going to do in case they seize my bank account, all these kinds of real problems that people need to be considering. These are the conversation that we're trying to have. And particularly, I'll say in Mexico, my message, my talk is going to be slightly different from the US because, as you know, in the US and Canada, we're trying to get away from the technocracy. Whereas in Mexico, it hasn't spread as completely as it has in much of these Western, democracies. So we want to stop the spread of it here. And the way we do that, or at least the way I believe, is that we want to connect with the expat community, the foreigner communities, and say, don't just act like you're on permanent vacation and let this happen here. And we want to connect to the Mexican activists and say, we want you to understand why we're here. We're running away from this stuff. We're getting away from this stuff to build something better. And we want to help you prevent it from happening here. So the message is both twofold. It's to the expat community, but it's also to the Mexican native community. And I don't know if we've said this yet, but we need to. The event's going to be in Spanish and English. We will have translation for both of our talks. And I'm sure we can arrange it if you don't have something already for yours, Dr. Wolf, if we have Spanish speakers. Our flyers and all of our content is in Spanish and English. We very much want to reach the Spanish audience.
My whole website is in Spanish.
Beautiful.
My Healthy to 100 book has all been put in Spanish. So.
Yeah, and I've been doing a similar effort, like getting my books translated, my documentaries, and we have T-shirts in Spanish. And we're just making the effort. We want to connect to the Mexican community here. We don't want to just be in an expat English-speaking bubble. Personally, we want to, if this movement is going to grow, we need to bring the expats and the Mexicans together to work together to build something beautiful.
Absolutely. I want to step back just for a second here, though. When we were talking about the whole judgment thing, okay, we're programmed to judge what we judge. So the reality is people don't even know that they're programmed to judge it. They're on some kind of unconscious autopilot. So that's the reality. First, you got to wake up to the fact that you've been programmed to judge what you judge. And that's what you're talking about, activation, waking up. And the other thing I want to say is this, is that, 3 years ago, we decided to come down here. It was a big project to come down here. We only came down here 6 months ago. So I want everybody to understand, just like Derek has done and Miriam has done, is that they've done amazing things when we're supposed to be locked down, pulled apart, shut up, okay? They have done amazing things as if there's nothing going on. And look at 6 months ago, we moved here, okay? And I'll tell you something. there's only 10% of the containers that are moving around the world. You know, the reality is it took me, I just had my container leave, my last container leave Canada. It took 6 months, 6 months for it to leave. And everything is being stopped, but understand, you never give up, stay connected to your breath, and know that if you can stay calm and you can stay in the present moment, your imagination will create the answer. So if you have to go swimming, do that. If you have to go bike riding, do that. If you have to meditating, do that. Learn to do what you need to do to calm down and to get centered, everyone, because they know that if they can put you into fear, which fear is not real, but danger is. So think about it. When there's danger, you take massive action. When there's fear, you don't take any action. You just sit there and boil like a frog in the pot. So ending this, I just want to say this. We came here 6 months ago, and if you decide to come, anybody, to the World Healing and Training Center and see what we've done in 6 months, you'll say there's no such thing as COVID. There's no such thing as a limit to what you can do mind-wise or financially when you come together and you have abundant thinking. So one law, one love. One law, one love. And that's called unconditional love. And that's the way the universe works. So if planet Earth were to work the same way, we would tap into universal intelligence. That's what I think. Anyways, so where are you going after you finish in Ixtapa?
We go to Puerto Escondido and then Oaxaca City. And then, as I was mentioning earlier, we'll start making our way towards the Yucatan, which will be our first time visiting there. And we're really excited about that. And yeah, I mean, we have most of the cities. We do have volunteers. But again, if anybody is listening to this and you have friends and family in other parts of Mexico, please encourage them to visit activationtour.org and check out our schedule. And there's a contact email if they have any questions, if they want to reach out and be involved. We would love to get people involved in both parts, the Community Action Day part and the main event, the speaking and the music and everything. As I mentioned, we do have my books and shirts for sale in English and Spanish. And these events also are totally free as well. I don't know if we've said that yet, but all of our events are free online across the country. So if somebody is having trouble financially at the moment, please come to the event. I'll hand you a book. I'll give it to you for free because the information is more important than you giving me a few bucks. So please, if you're interested, just check out what we're doing. And I encourage everybody in the Ziwa and Ixtapa area to come connect with Dr. Wolf and attend our event.
Yeah.
I know we're excited.
We're very excited to be there. We're very excited to meet everybody on the road and get to learn what people are doing already in their communities and how they're taking action like you are in Ixtapa, and see where we can come in and share some insight too as well. So everybody working together. I know and I see it happening, and these networks are going to grow tremendously in the next year.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. And just know this, everyone, that we will be taping this live on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and then we'll be putting it up on Telegram, Bitchute, and Brighton, and there's another one. I can't remember what it is. There's too many platforms, but they look after it. But we will be going live on this, so please let everybody know. And we'll be going live about, I would say, probably around 4:30, a half hour before the event. When people come in, we'll show you behind the scenes and everything that's going on. And just know this, you need to spread the word, everyone, because this isn't about stress. This isn't about fear. This is about having fun and feeding the spirit, because if you feed the spirit, you heal the body. And that's the way it's always worked. So, the invisible always creates the physical. And I want you to think about that, because that's where your mind is. Your mind is just a computer program that dumps chemicals and hormones, and it stores prominent, dominant thoughts. So let's base them on one love, one law. What do you think? What would you like to leave everybody with? Can you please, before you leave them with something, can you give them all your contacts and the different platforms and go very slowly so that they have time to write it down, okay?
Perfect. And again, thank you, Dr. Wolf, and everybody on the team behind the scenes who helped make this interview happen and for helping us come to town. My website to find, if anybody's interested in seeing my books, which you can download for free, my documentaries, my podcasts, and my journalism, is theconsciousresistance.com is my main website, theconsciousresistance.com. And you can find links to all my socials. Like you said, Dr. Wolf, there's too many of them to list off right now, but they're all listed there if you want to find me there. And and then we mentioned freedomcells.org and of course activationtour.org. And I know Miriam's got a few projects she wants to mention.
Mainly my project right now is the meditations with the Freedom Cell Network. And so if you want to find those are always free for everybody who wants to join. Every Sunday we go live with a teacher from the network. And actually this month we're doing things a little bit differently. We're going to be focusing all of our energy on those tools, those practices that really help us amplify our ability to affect the world around us in such a powerful and beautiful and positive way. So we're going to do a global synchronized meditation on the 20th at 11:11 a.m. Central, US Central. And if you want to be a part of that, you can join the Telegram group at FC Meditations for Freedom Cells. And if you want to organize an event or just create a gathering in your city or your town, you can email me at fcmeditations@protonmail.com.
I'll also just mention, in case anybody didn't catch those emails or the link to the Telegram group, if you just go to theconsciousresistance.com, the latest video is Miriam announcing this worldwide meditation, and it has the links to everything right there.
Beautiful.
And the way I'd like to end, Dr. Wolf, is the way I always end my videos. I'm curious if you'd do it with us. I have an affirmation that I always end my videos with. So
and we'll do it in Spanish too.
Maybe we can, that'll be the last thing we say if you're game for that.
I'm game.
Okay, so I'll say one line, everybody who wants to repeat, and then we'll do it in Spanish too.
Beautiful.
Okay, so this is an affirmation that I've been using for years. Whenever I went to prison, started doing my healing process, this is an affirmation that helped me, and it's on my t-shirts. It's the way I end my videos. So if you feel inclined, I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
And I am free.
And I'm free.
free.
Y ahora en español. Soy hermoso.
Soy hermoso.
Soy poderoso.
Soy poderoso.
Soy libre.
Soy libre.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Dr. Wolf.
Thank you so much, team.
It's been an honor and it's been a blessing to have you. And I guess we'll see you next Thursday.
All right. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Take care,
Safe
everyone.
travels. Safe travels. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming on. Bye now. Well, everyone, there you go. And understand something. If they can do it, you can do it. You'd be surprised what you can do. Okay. We've been programmed to think that we're not enough. We've been programmed to think that we don't have genius inside, but there's a brave heart in there. And like I said, if you're doing something every day that just scares you a little bit, you're going to find that authentic you. And remember something, if you change just 1% each day, that means in 100 days, you've done a complete turnaround. So understand something. It's one law, one love, unconditional love for yourself, and then shine that light throughout the world, okay? And be the blessing, all right? I will be back here at noon today, and it'll be about how to unleash the feminine power within. And we're going to be talking about hormonal and chemical things that are going on with women, and how GMOs and 5G and blue light and stress, it has totally brought down everything to the point that even in the pelvic area, we've got inflammation and we've got all kinds of problems happening because that's command central for a woman. But we're going to be talking about how we can bring back, and I mean this, bring back your virility, bring back your energy, bring back the tone in your body. And I can prove to you that 50 years ago, that a woman, as far as feminine energy, she would have it until she was like in her 75, 80 years old. And today that feminine energy has gone around 35. And we're going to tell you why and how you can get it back. All right. Thanks for joining me. God bless. And just know this, if you can't join us at noon, just have the best Friday of your life. And we'll see you again. Take care. You know, it's not good enough to have the most powerful courses, treatments, and training. We want to deliver to you the adventure of a lifetime that's going to last a lifetime. And I'm going to take you on a little adventure right now and show you what we are going to deliver. What are we going to deliver? We are going to deliver the authentic you, the real you, the genius inside. How would you like to become not just the master of your mind, but the master of your body, the master of your life? You know what? The most important world is your world, and we're about to show you how to create it.
Found Dr. Wolf and all his positivity and trying to reshape our way of thinking and help me be a better person, a better mom, better wife. I'm glad I found him in person in Ixtapa, Mexico.
Never limit yourself to beautiful, because that's what you are. Take a look at this beautiful place. We all deserve beauty in our life. You need to create a new program that is unlimited when it comes to things that are beautiful, things that make you happy, things that make you shine, things that make you feel excited. Let's get excited.
This guy's got something really interesting to say and he's sharing it really openly and we're just really not caring what other people think, and I just thought that was really empowering.
What I've learned in my life is this: to be the change you wish to be the change you wish to see, Braveheart, you have to understand you take life one step at a time.
Dr. Wolf, as many people will have seen, is very direct and straight and will take you to the edge of the cliff, as he says, and then pull you back just in time.
Never lose your focus. Never lose your dream, because you are the dream maker. It's called image, but guess what? It's your imagination. The image that you hold creates the thought that you live with. That thought creates an emotion that creates a frequency, and we know that the invisible creates the physical. I mean, that's quite obvious. So be the power that you seek, and understand something, that all your thoughts matter. And guess what? Unless you're willing to take a look at those thoughts and retrain your brain, change your personality, you'll never change your reality, and your reality could become infinite.
He's a wealth of information, and I love it.
You were created by your creator to create. So let's create something amazing together.
I found Dr. Wolf and I went, wow, here's a truth speaker. And he spoke to my soul and he spoke truth.
So tell me what you think of the destination that I came up with my imagination to hold the whole life coach certification for you. Understand something. It's all about beauty. It's all about adventure. It's all about stimulating the mind, okay? And understanding that your mind is unlimited. And that is what the whole life coach certification is all about. In the whole life coach certification, we are going to go deeper. We have people coming to us, professionals coming to us, from doctors to nurses to accountants to oil riggers to mothers that want to expand their life. And when they come here, they go, I need to learn to help my family, or I want to improve my business. But guess what? We get into their business. When they leave, they become the change that they wish to see, that they wish to be. They become the gift to the world, because when you can stay in the present, and you can't do that until you have unconditional love and care for yourself. And I'll tell you something right now. I have hardly even found 1 out of 1,000 practitioners, or even so-called whole life coaches, that can hold the present moment and own it and then give it as a gift. And this is what I'm going to give to you. And when you come here, this is where you're going to come into this room when you need to find alignment, you need to find balance, and you need to get back into your lion heart breath, because we're going to go deep into your heart and we're going to become the spark that you seek.
And actually what I really love about Dr. Wolf's teachings is that unconditional love is literally it. And then you're like, how can it be that easy? That's just silly. So, but it's really not.
Come play, come stay, come train with us today. Understand something. I know we have fear, but understand, that's just false evidence appearing real. I get it. Stick your toe in, feel the water, but then I want you to dive right in, because
How I found my brave heart was through Daryl. He really teaches you to go within and Go in through your heart and not your mind, because your heart's a lot more connected to so much more than your mind. Your mind is just so conditioned, and your heart is just so open and beautiful.
You're the answer that you've been looking for. Let me teach you how to fly. What does that mean? First, love yourself, Braveheart. Let's take life in and win.
I had just lost my husband a couple of years ago. With his passing, he gave me the greatest gift to love myself. But Dr. Wolf gave me the greatest gift in understanding that.
I had a dream 3 years ago that I would live in Mexico and I would have this training center, this teaching center, this treatment center that would touch the world. Your dreams are never too big. And when they start to create a little bit of anxiety, turn them into excitement. And get excited, because this is your life.
He's the first doctor that I have encountered that has truly given me the truth, and not just half truths, but the full truth. So it's been revolutionary for me in my healing process.
And this, my friend, when you take on the dream of all dreams, and you realize that if you stay connected to your breath, that you can have it all. Do not let anybody take your breath away. Do not let anybody steal your dream, okay? Listen, God gave you imagination. This is your sandbox of life. Take your life back. Right now, we are teaching courses to people that have come from all over the world, and the government is saying you can't travel, you can't breathe, you can't have this, you can't come together. Yes, we will. And we will do it with unconditional love for each other. And we will learn to grow. We will not judge each other. We'll observe and see where we can support each other. But at the same time, we will hold the Braveheart line, because this is the only way that we can grow. So find your roar, because you're so much more. And learn this. You are the unconditional love that you've been looking for. You are the dream maker. I can't wait to see you. We want to become that small piece of the puzzle that brings your dream together. Thank you. Let me ask you a question. What do you think it would take to turn your life around? I can tell you right now, I learned that a long time ago, what the key was. And anybody that has been able to perfect the perfect day on an emotional, physical, and spirit level knows this. The answer is massive, personal action. That's what it's going to take for you to turn your life around. And to turn your life around, you're going to have to go within if you want to change without. And that's the bottom line. And you know, people think that they can do it like with a consultation, or maybe they can do it with a telephone call or a Band-Aid or a 911 emergency, a treatment. But understand, that's not the way it is. The day that you realize that when you master your mind is the only time you're going to master your body. Forget your life. That's always going to be just random luck until you know that you must become the master of your day. From the moment you rise until you gently close your eyes, you must be the only authority for you. And if you think that getting an hour consultation is going to do it, it's not. If you think that going for therapy is going to do it, it's not. You have to submerge yourself into what we would call the personal treatment and training. And you need to do that from anywhere from 6 days to 10 days, or you need to come for my whole life coach certification, because if you don't go in deep, you'll never make changes. They say it takes 10,000 times for you to repeat something before it becomes a prominent, dominant thought. And if you understood that 70 to 90% of all your thoughts are not yours, and they say that 70% of your thoughts are toxic, tell me they're not. Take a look at the majority of the population. 92% of the population has an autoimmune disease, which means the body is attacking itself. Before that, though, the person was attacking themselves on a subconscious, unconscious level. And that, my friend, is the bottom line, and why you must take a personal treatment and training and go deep and understand how to run your life. What that means is learning how to think, how to drink, how to eat, and knowing when somebody is mistreating you, when someone is disrespecting you, because until you honor and respect yourself, no one else is going to do it. So understand, this is your life. If you want to live your passion and purpose, then you must become the master of your mind to become the master of your body so that you can become the light for your family. So please, consider this. You've got the time and you've got the money, because you're going to change the rest of your life for the rest of your life, and that's my guarantee to you.